Welcome to the Emotional Horsemanship Podcast. I am your host, Lockie Phillips, and I help deeply caring equestrians create emotionally balanced horses with science, empathy, and feel. This podcast is a safe place for anyone who desires a better future for horses and for the equestrian lifestyle. I hope that you will enjoy these solo and collaborative episodes where we enjoy a deep insight into our horses' worlds and ways in which we can make that better for them. If you love horses and are willing to do right by them, you're going to love this podcast. And I thank you for being here. It is difficult enough to discuss horses and horsemanship with coherence and clarity in a language that you know really well. But what about doing it in your second language or your third language? Marta Wieczorek, who is my guest today, is my friend, my colleague, and my client who is exploring with me on the podcast her horsemanship and her story in her second language. So I'm having us all here encourage her and celebrate her for her coherence and clarity on this subject, despite the fact that English is her second language. If you have ever wondered how on earth I got started with something that sounds so unusual, like emotional horsemanship, well, I'm about to present to you Client Zero. Client Zero, meaning Marta was and is the first person who ever stuck with me consistently, coherently, and clearly when I really came out of the closet with emotional horsemanship as the authentic essence of how I train horses. Marta stood by me. She was my client then, and sometimes her patronage in my business kept the lights on. She has now become a horse trainer herself, and anyone in Poland who is interested in exploring emotional horsemanship, but through an authentic lens of an authentic individual, I recommend you to Marta. Marta is my family. Words cannot describe how important she is to me. And so when I open a podcast, it was second nature to immediately invite her on. And I want to point out to you that because it's her second language, every single word she uses, she says with huge feeling and true, honest, authentic meaning. That's the beauty of speaking a second language. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm okay. A little bit stressed, but...
We're already recording so that we don't have to make like a big deal out of like starting the recording, okay?
Okay.
But when I go to edit the pod, we can edit out anything that needs to be edited out, including but not limited to any moments that you need to just take your time to find the right words.
Okay.
Including any mistakes or anything you said that you don't want to say.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
My purpose to have you here is to introduce you to everyone and to give you a voice with what I'm doing here because you deserve it.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
Marta, how do you describe to people who you are, what you do, and how you do it?
Yeah, it seems like an easy question, but it's not. It's really difficult one. But let me try. I'm a person who who is not afraid to reach for my dreams. I'm really consistent in it. And yes, what would life be without dreams? So I think it's not easy. It's a very hard, difficult, tough road. But it's needed. I love that road. So I'm trying to keep my my mind, my heart open to do it. I'm a lifelong learner. I love to study. I love to learn from life and from books, from people. That's why I'm so grateful that I can be a part of this community you built. It's a wonderful, beautiful community, beautiful people that I love to be with them. Thank you very much for this. I appreciate. So, yeah. And I have my dreams. My dreams are connected with horses, of course. It can't be different. They are my whole life. There was many years where I was without horses. I was far from my passion, and it was sad life, ordinary life. I was working at a corporation, and I didn't like it. So you gave me the opportunity to back to horses. So you and my mare Bianca, you changed my life. And yes, it was the time that I found myself again in the life. So that's now is the time that I will not remember who am I, and I'm consistent in it. I just want to be with horses, help them, and help horse owners to feel better with the horses, and horses feel better with people.
So anyone listening who knows a little bit about my story will know that I spent most of my 20s living in Poland. And it was in Poland where everything began again for me with horses, and where my life changed in this direction. And as I began to develop emotional horsemanship more and more and more, there were several people at the time who saw me, who had access to me, and I had access to them, who asked me to help them. One of them is Matilda, who now has her whole other life. She was the first to ask me to do lessons for her on a consistent basis. She was a student at a summer camp where I was teaching, and she asked me to help her. And she was the person who helped me design the first version of the emotional horsemanship logo, because it was a school project for her when she went to university in Denmark for graphic design. So even she has had her influence here from the very, very beginning. But very, very soon, once Sani came into my life, and during 2017, which was when everything was changing for me, I met Marta. And Marta was, as she said, working in a corporation. You and I were accommodating at the same livery environment together. I can't call it a stable. That's not to be disrespectful. It's just, it was a very humble place. It was a very humble place. Yes. And you and I are both horse people of humble origins. Humble origins. We have not come from the halls of kings or from money or anything like this. And so we were both accommodating our horses at the same place. And I remember your mare Bianca, and I remember your trainer at the time trying to get her to walk out of the muddy paddock. And they were there for a long time at the gate, and Bianca just would not come. And she had a rug on, and she was skinny, and her muscles were upside down, and she was just chaos. She was just chaos. And you were in chaos with her, and you were working with someone else at the time, and they were doing their very, very best. But you and I both agree it wasn't getting to the heart of the matter.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I was afraid of my own horse.
Mm. And so you saw me working with Sani, who also had problems, and it was a different kind of work. And you very, very quietly asked me to help you. And so we started working together, and I call you client zero of emotional horsemanship. I call you client zero because when I became more honest and clear about exactly what I do and what I don't do, it was you I shared that with first. And it was you who said, let me think about it. And you thought about it, and you came back and you said, Lockie, I'm in. I'm in. And you've continued to be in. And we're still together.
Yes.
And I've watched you go from your career in a corporate environment to becoming a professional horsewoman. I've watched you do that transition, celebrating you every step of the way with your horses, specifically your Bianca by your side.
Yes.
And I am so proud of you. I regularly weep with joy about you. I am so proud of you. I'm so proud of how hard you've worked, how consistent you are, and how brave you've had to be. And
it means me a lot,
yes,
what you're saying.
Yes. And so anyone who is in Poland, who might be listening, who is interested in learning emotional horsemanship, who would like to work with somebody who understands emotional horsemanship, but is not a carbon copy of me. You are your own horsewoman, and you're able to filter it through your own very unique, personal, beautiful, warm lens. Please run, don't walk to my friend Marta, please.
Thank you.
Tell us about Bianca. Tell us her story.
Oh, it's a difficult story for the first, but now it's amazing. I was afraid of my horse, but I loved her from the first minute I saw her. And I thought that there is something between us, something very good, but I didn't know what it is and how I can take it to the surface. You know, I felt it, but I didn't know how we can do this something to be real between us. So I didn't trust her. It's really sad, but I didn't trust her. I was afraid. She was rearing up, bucking, bolting.
Everything.
She had everything.
Kicking, fighting, all of it.
Yes. Even the trimmer didn't want to trim her because she didn't want to give her legs to him. She kicked physiotherapist, she kicked a trimmer. She didn't kick me. Never. She didn't do it.
She never kicked me either.
Yeah. Yes.
We've always had this awareness of her because you and I worked for a couple of years together in person with her. And whenever I visit Poland, I try to visit you and see her. And we've worked together online as well. I mean, 4-dimensionally, you and I have worked together with this very, very, very troubled soul.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when you look into Bianca's eyes, you really see someone there. And when she sees you look at her like that, she will treat you differently.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. It was one time when she, I don't know if I say it right in English. Please feel free to correct me.
Okay.
When she stepped into me in a trot. So she stepped into me, and it was one time when she touched me with her body. Yes.
Pushed you.
She yes, thank you. She pushed me, but it was the moment that we had a very it was tiny road. We didn't have space, and she was afraid of something what was behind her, and she was behind me, so that's why she pushed me. It was once, and now I know that she will jump over me.
Yes.
Or she will never touch me. She will never go through me. She's absolutely amazing. There were several times on the paddock when she is stressed, when she feels fear about something in the bushes. And she was very close to me, and she always did something with her body to not fall at me, to not push me, to not kick me. So she cared about me.
This is something we have trained for.
Yes.
That care and nurturance also translates into a very functional and safe mutual regard for one another, whereby even in a crisis, the horse will always have their eye on you to make sure you're okay and that they are okay. This is what they do for each other when they have healthy herds and healthy social attachments. And we can not make the horse do this. It's not making the horse do it.
Never.
We develop the horse and us together so that the horse will do it on their own, unprompted from us.
Yes. She was, and she is very sensitive horse. But she had problems with her emotions. The emotions came out from her very, very quickly and dynamic way, I can say. But with your training, with our training, she discovered that she can do something different with her emotions. They don't have to blow out. She can do something different, and she's amazing. Now she's the queen of the meditation.
Yes.
Really. I love that.
And you and her are extremely consistent and reliable with each other. You can work with her at almost any day of the week, in almost any conditions. You will adjust what you do relative to the conditions. But even when she's having a hard day, she now will still create space for you to work with her, even on her hard days. And that was impossible 5-6 years ago. Impossible. I have a very specific memory. We have many trainings together, and a handful of them I remember specifically. One I remember specifically, we were at Stanja Valor, and we were at the top outdoor dressage ring.
Dressage,
And
I remember.
It was a very windy, very cold day, and she, if we were to speak with her in English, she would have been saying, "I'm cold, I'm stressed. I'm overwhelmed. I don't want to do this. I want to kill you. I want to eat something. I want to run away. I want to stay here. I want to jump on you. It was everything all the time in every direction.
Yes.
And it was all we could do to very quietly ask her to walk maybe 3 or 4 steps from one patch of grass to the next. And
Yes.
that's all we did for an hour, was go from that tussle of grass to that tussle of grass. We were not exacerbating her stress. The stress was there, and we were providing a safe context for her to express herself so that the stress could leave her.
Yes.
Because asking her to shut up, trying to make it better, trying to fix it, doesn't work in that situation, because what she was saying, what her body was going through, was exceptionally important to her that she went through it.
Yes.
And our only job was to stand by like soldiers and help her stay calm, keep us safe, and to create breadcrumbs of simple activities that she could do. And we spent an hour just walking from patch of grass to patch of grass, and then we finished. And it was all that we could do to just keep her safe, because every time she came up off the grass, she was rearing and bucking on the end of the lead line. Every time, unless she was eating. And I sat there thinking, there was a moment in that lesson where I thought, are we ever going to get to the bottom of this? We did.
Yes.
And those days are long behind us. And it's not a Band-Aid. It's not a cover. It's not a manipulation. She is genuinely fully regulated and fully past all of that.
Yes. I think it was great that we didn't shut down her.
Yes.
We respect what she needs. We respect who she was in that minute.
Yes.
And who she was in our training time. Because we respected, she saw that we accept her just in the way she is, and we just want to help her. I think it was
she was always taking notes. She was always taking notes in the back of her mind. Even in the chaos, she was remembering that in her worst moments, we were at our best.
Yes. Yes.
And now she repays you.
Oh, yes.
Tell us the ways that
gorgeous.
She repays you.
Oh, she's gorgeous. I remember when the bad days were, and we need to take her from one stable to the other stable, and she, in the trailer, broke the middle fence.
The divider.
Yes, thank you. Because she was afraid, she was in stress, she was in her emotion, and she didn't know what to do. So the one way she was coping with her emotions was rear up. So she rear up in a trailer. And now, a few weeks ago, we had to take horses from my stable to another stable. And she came to the trailer. She went to the trailer just like that. Just like that. It was a couple of minutes when she was afraid. When she was afraid. I saw that she's afraid. It was a very difficult moment because we was taking 4 horses, all of them. It was all our stable, 4 horses. And we were taking them together to another place. And she's the mother of the herd. So she was afraid what's happening, Why we are doing it, she didn't know it. So the few minutes I had to talk with her. I took her in a different place that she could see the trailer, but I talked with her that she can be feel that she can feel good, that she can feel safe, that everything will be okay. So we did motherful bonding and some other stuff to feel her safe. And after that, she just went to the trailer. Yeah. She didn't rear up, and she just go to another stable. And now in this stable, there is a big herd. And when she was in this our first stable, she was depressed because of the big herd. Do you remember that? She yes. Didn't feel well there. She didn't feel well.
It was a big herd, but it wasn't a healthy big herd, because
yes.
when a new horse would come, within an hour or less, they would just put the new horse directly into this large herd, and it was just chaotic. The horses didn't have, in my opinion, the opportunity to get used to newcomers and to settle the score and to create a new dynamic properly. It was just this, it was like horses, it was like, imagine if you were in an airport and the comings and goings of people was your community. It was sort of that feeling. And these horses struggled to find a settledness to them because it was just unstable. And many livery environments are like this. Many livery environments are like this. Yours isn't. And I know that you're preparing, laying foundations and building towards the next level of your work and your business, where you will have a very, very lovely livery environment in Warsaw, in Poland, where the horses will be outside all the time, which, if we don't know about Warsaw, and unless you're in Warsaw, why would you? But Warsaw has something like 700 to 800 equestrian livery stables in and around the city. It's a big, big deal. Everyone's got a horse. Everyone's got a horse in Warsaw, right? And so despite the number of livery environments, there's a lack of livery environments where the horses are living outside in nature. It's very, very hard to find that. So at the time when you and I were looking for stables, we had very limited options for where we could go close to where we were living and working. And even one of the places we went to, we had to request and negotiate with the stable that they could turn one of their unused pastures into a free-range livery scenario. And we did. We managed to negotiate that together, you and I and some others. But you're going to actually set up a free-range stable close to Warsaw that you will own and operate, and no one can turn you out. You're not renting, you're not leasing, you're going to own that. And you're starting that with the seed of Bianca by your side, plus your other horses and our friend Julia, who accommodates with you. And I'm so excited for you to offer this in Warsaw. I would be running, not walking to your livery stable if I was still in Poland. It would be the only place I would want to go.
Oh, nice to hear that.
So she trusted you enough to do something she didn't understand.
It is in everything we do with each other. It's in training time. It's in trailer. It's in vet time. She's really amazing, and I think that our relation, our connection is much deeper and deeper day after day. It's not like this, that we did something with our relationship and it is. No, we have to all the time work with it, and because we work with it, it is deeper and deeper, and this is the most amazing thing I have with her.
And that it's a maintenance and it's a craft that has to be maintained, practiced regularly, like brushing the teeth. We have to do this all the time to maintain it there.
Yeah.
That connection, deep connection work with a horse is not a button you press or a box that you tick. It is something you tick today, and tomorrow you might have to tick it again. You might have to build it again the next day. And that it's a devotion. And the more you work at it, the easier it is to maintain it. The cleaner it stays, the cleaner it is. And, if you're cleaning your house regularly, then cleaning the house doesn't take a long time. But if you're not cleaning house, or if a house has never been cleaned, it's a big job, right? And so the nervous system and connection with our horses is so similar to these analogies. And you really, really embody that. And now you teach that.
Yes.
So
yes,
you're a different teacher to me, but we hold hands. But how do you approach working with people and their horses?
Yes, it's a. I think it's a big deal to work with people, because with horses, it's sometimes I can say easier, because they have no scheme, patterns deep inside. They feel the moment. They, of course, they have memory, and they remember what happened in their lives. There are so many horses with trauma, many horses. And I must admit that when I'm thinking about my clients now, it's 90%. I think it's 90% or more, close to 100%. That
with trauma,
the horses, with trauma. It's scary. It's scary what happened in our horse world. But it is, and yes, I think it starts from the beginning. It starts from the riding schools, but for people, for horses, it starts from the beginning too. So yes, they are with trauma, but people, I think they have traumas too. I have faith that they have good values. They have ability. They have skills. They really have. But something in their past shut them up. We are talking about shutting down horses, but I think that people are shutting down too. So I'm trying to show my clients that there can be positive training, that can be optimistic way how we can see our horses, how that we can rebuild the joy, curiosity, freedom with their horses. I think it's very, 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 very important. So I focus on the strengths they have, and we develop that strengths. When they believe that they can do better, that when they feel better with themselves, they can do better with horses, and they can they can do better for the horses, and the horses will feel better. It's like round circle.
Yes.
So after when they feel empowered, they feel better with themselves, then we go to more challenging things. And we build it step by step by step by step. I'm waiting for them. Sometimes people are not ready for every step, so I'm waiting for them and build the basis when we can step another one.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And to watch you blossom as a trainer and as an instructor, as a support network to horse people in a city I spent so much time in, and in a country that I love. You know, my partner is Polish. I'll be connected to Poland forever. So, and Sani and I were there together with Bianca, you know, and so when I left that country because I had to, not because I necessarily wanted to, but I had to, it makes me feel great that you are still there, sort of carrying on in this manner, because in that country, and we're speaking also more broadly about the equestrian industry, because if we think of all the thousands, tens of thousands of livery and boarding barns in every little forgotten corner of the world, these are the unspoken voices of the industry that really drive the industry forwards. I mean, I remember being in California, and I did some lessons in California, and I'd be driving around California, and you'd go around a corner and there'd be a random little boarding barn there under some trees by the road. And then, you know, I'm in the middle of the Czech Republic, and there's a random little boarding barn there. And in Poland, everywhere, tens of thousands of little boarding barns all over the place. In Germany, in France, in Spain, in the UK, there's horses crisscrossed throughout the world that do not have a platform or a seat at the table, and yet they are the table, if that makes sense. And so to have boots on the ground and be a service provider in this capacity, and to reach instructors like you and take them by the hand and let them know that they can be a support network to their students. They can be patient and wait for their students and for the horses, that they can love their students and hold them accountable, and that as service providers, they deserve to be safe in their business as well. So if someone's not appropriate fit for you, let them know and invite them to find their freedom with somebody else. If someone's not a right fit for you. Have you ever had that experience?
Yes, but it's very, very tough. It's really difficult to feel the moment when you say to someone that enough, you need to find another way. Because it's like my mission to help horses. It's very hard to, when I see that they can do better. It's hard to say that, okay, enough. I know that I should sometimes say stop and please find another way, because it frustrates me, and that people, they cannot be ready, and they cannot be ready for this stuff. So I had it a couple of times I had it a couple of times. It was more on the beginning. On the beginning, because I didn't know how to introduce myself. So when I was starting to introduce myself in an appropriate words, it is not now better, because with me are people who want to do their best for horses, and they are ready to do this effort, because it's really big effort for the people. They need to develop themselves. They need to work with themselves, not only with horses. It's all the time work with us, with people. So that's why clients need to be ready to do this work.
Yes, and not everyone is ready. You and I know someone, and we were working at the same time, where I had this conversation when I was trying to be everything for everyone if I could.
Yes.
And then I had a moment with this person, you and I both know, this person who loved their horse very, very much and always provides everything this horse needs. Really, really,
yes.
really. Not a bad person. Yeah. But this person asked me, they said, I want to fix how she uses her shoulder, and I want to learn shoulder in.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, in my opinion, from my perspective, you and your horse are not ready for what it takes to do shoulder in this way that I will do it. Because whenever we start doing lateral movements with a horse, we invite to the surface the naturally connected emotions that horses feel whenever they naturally do a lateral movement. And a shoulder in is a fighting, a play, or a fear response for a lot of horses. They would never move laterally on their own without a rider or a trainer present, unless it was in a highly aroused moment of either crisis or play. But either way, it's highly aroused. And what happens is we ask horses who are new to lateral work to move laterally, and it triggers the emotions that are connected to that movement. It's the mind-body connection. The emotions can trigger the movement, but also the movement can trigger the emotional state. And so I'm aware that if I was to introduce shoulder in to a horse and a human who are not matured with each other, who haven't developed conflict management strategies, who haven't developed the ability to say, thank you, but can we do this instead, without that being punitive or confusing? If we don't have that with a horse, in my opinion, lateral work should be just left on the shelf for now, or touched on extremely briefly. And so this person did not yet have sufficient connection and rapport with their horse to do that. And so I shared that with the client. And meanwhile, we were working on it. You know, I was really trying to, as much as I could, as quickly as I could, help them get to that place. But they demanded that from me. And I said, not right now. And their response was to fire me as the trainer.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yes.
That's okay. Yes. And it was a moment for me to stand up for what was important for me as a horse person. I did share with them that if they wanted just the mechanics of it and they wanted to disregard the emotional component here, that I was not the trainer for them.
Yes.
And they believed me. And this was at a time when I didn't have the financial luxury to lose clients, but I did. And, but I'm okay. I survived it. And I think there's so many horses out there, and there are so many instructors now, that there's space at the table for us to be honest about ourselves.
Yes. I think that's there are so many people who want to do their job, and they're ready for that we should focus on them. And when the other people who are not ready yet, they will see our job, they will be more ready to do it.
Or not. Some people never get ready.
Yeah.
Some people never get ready. This person that we speak about, my understanding is that they no longer ride. They seldom train. It's just, I feed you, I care for you, I love you, and that's all at this point.
Yes, sometimes, yes, of course.
And that's wonderful, because we know that horse is safe forever.
Yes. Yes, of course.
Yeah. It's important, because I know that the market, the clients you will have access to, will frequently not be ready for the message you are to bring to them.
Yes.
But you have, because you're Polish and you speak Polish as your mother tongue, and your sensitivity and your compassion and your empathy, I think will help a lot of people feel more ready.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
How do you navigate that? How do you navigate that?
It's I can do for them just only this, what they can take. So I'm trying to show them what they can do, but it's more like they can discovery. They can discover with me this horse world. I would like to open them the door for the beautiful horse world, true horse world. And I do not take them there with push.
You don't force.
I just yes, I can't force them. I just can show them that there are doors, and they can open the doors. If they want, they can just open it, and I will help them to do it. I will be with them all the road to that door. And when they feel they need my support, I am there for them. So I think this is it. And when they are going to the door, sometimes they will go to another road, and that is okay. I can't force them to go back. So yes, I'm just for them, be with them, support them.
You are going to be very, very, very busy. More and more and more and more. This is going to happen for you, because this is where we are going as a community. People more and more are waking up. I truly believe that most people who are in, let's say, a bit of a crappy riding school environment, and you and I have seen them. I've seen group lessons where every horse was lame and every rider was banging on the horse's back, and it's just like 1 hour, and then next hour, and then next hour, and this is the horse's lives. I truly believe that most people, once they've had enough exposure to the horses, they start to feel the horses, and the horses plant energetic and emotional seeds in those people's bodies that says, I'm not sure that these horses are okay. I'm just not sure about that. I'm just not sure about that. And if someone like you is standing there saying, come to my door, let me nod my head and say, you are correct. The horses are not okay, but we can help them to be okay. And let me show you tools how. This is where the entire industry is going. Poland is going there too. And it's been my experience in Poland that people culturally are either extremely progressive, early adopters, or very, very conservative. That there's a lack of the middle ground, or at least the middle ground is very quiet. And so because there is such a large population in Poland of horse people who are extremely progressive and early adopters. I mean, the first international bridleless riding competition in the world was in Poland, and it's been happening for at least 5-6 years now in Wrocław. Every single year it's happening. And so it's a very progressive country with many, many wonderful trainers. Bettina Biolik also been on the podcast, a fabulous trainer that I so admire, who's also in Warsaw.
Yes, I know her.
So this is where we're going, and you are preparing to be ready to welcome them. Would you like to describe to us what you're preparing right now? I know it's very difficult, but let's take a break. Today, we are so blessed as horse people. Unlike the horse industry 20, 10, or even 5 years ago, we now have so many options of so many different teachers, methods, and coaches to choose from for our horsemanship. Instead of telling a negative story of overwhelm because we have so many choices to make, let us celebrate the fact that we now have choice. You get to choose how you want to train your horse. You do not have to train like the person to your left or the person to your right. You only have to deal with who you see in the mirror and the horse in your hands. If you would like to redefine your horsemanship so that it can be softer, quieter, and safer, and maybe even build for a future of deeply encouraging and fulfilling experiences with your horse, I'd like to invite you to do that with the Emotional Horsemanship Foundation online course. The Emotional Horsemanship Foundation online course is available for sign up at any time, and you get lifetime access. This is an essential starting point for anyone who would like to redefine their horsemanship with emotional horsemanship. In it, I teach theory and practical exercises that allow you to make a start with a horse formed on the powerful emotional phenomena of care and nurturance using body language rules that your horse already knows, and they just need to remember. In it, you can join over 1,000 students around the world also studying this foundation, and the course has an average 5 out of 5 star rating. I filmed this course during the pandemic with an iPhone 6 that had a cracked screen, and I hung it off an olive tree using a piece of baling twine. And yet, despite that fact, this course has caught on like wildfire and has helped transform the lives of so many horse people and horses around the world, and gave birth to my business. Because what I'm teaching there is not just marketing, it's not predatory, trying to take your money for no reason. What I'm teaching there is real, boots on the ground experience, something that has been so important to the development of my work and of my students. And I teach it there for you in a self-study form. I hope I can see you there. And now let's return to my conversation with Marta Wieczorek, a horse trainer in Warsaw, Poland, who is my friend, my family, and the first emotional horsemanship student ever. And you are preparing to be ready to welcome them. Would you like to describe to us what you're preparing right now? I know it's very difficult, but yes.
Yeah. I'm preparing a safe place for people and for horses. Yes, a safe place. It will be the stable, but not only the stable. I would like to invite people on the weekends or few days. They can come, be with horses. They can see the different horse world with love. with respect. They can see how horses, healthy horses, happy horses, looks. Yes, I want to build that space, and everyone could come to us and be in this safety environment. I would like to train young horses, but I'd love to be with trauma horses. They need help, and so the owners needs help too, like me. 6-7 years ago, I needed help, and now I want to repay and give people what I have now with my horses.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this. It's so needed. It's so important, and I look forward to visiting.
Yes, you're welcome. Oh.
We're going to start rounding out our conversation. But before I do, I need the bathroom. So give me 2 minutes. I'll be right back.
That's great.
Okay, continuing.
Okay.
I'm so excited to watch this happen for you because I know how hard it is to start an equestrian business. I know how tough it is to live in Poland. I know how tough it is to be taken seriously when you are a niche service provider. And so many odds are in front of you. So many obstacles are in front of you. And I know how difficult that journey is. So I want anyone listening to know that Marta is telling a very beautiful story, which is the truth, but also the truth is in front of Marta is many, many obstacles that will require her focus, her strength, and her grace to move through it. So anyone listening who feels moved to add to the energetic wellness of Marta through their thoughts, their feelings, their prayers, or God forbid, a financial donation in Marta's direction, please do so. If you would like to donate towards Marta's offerings, please get in touch with me and I will get you in touch with Marta or contact Marta directly through the show notes so that we can support and help Marta build this place of love and respect in a community which is desperately in need of it. But also, not just financially, I really believe in the collective consciousness of people adding their well wishes to others. And I'm inviting everyone to just take a deep breath in and a deep breath out and invite everything that is in the universe to run to Marta's side to help open the pathway before her so that this can be built and that they can be safe and that they can have a legitimate ongoing business based on respect for the people and for their horses. It's so important. So important.
Thank you.
So, segment number 1 to round out, I'm inviting you, Marta, to muck out with me. What is something in the equestrian industry that makes you think and feel, what the muck? What the muck is that? And let us know what that is for you.
I think I would like to remove whips and gadgets, especially from riding schools. I dream the horse would be ready for teaching people, and the people who are at the beginning, they need to be ready for everything. And the whips and the gadgets are not necessary in it. They distract. They do really bad things to people because in spite they could learn how to be with horses and how to hear the yes from the horse. They
make the yes.
And it's not appropriate. It's and this happens in the riding schools. So what happened next? How we can have beautiful horse world? How we can have truth in the horse world if in the beginning we do such things?
Marta, I join you in that quest, that even using body extenders or sticks and whips as communication tools should be, in my opinion, the purvey of experts who teach it in a very controlled and narrow perspective, where there's a lot of work done before of listening, understanding, and observing the horses, so that you're never using it to extract, force, manipulate, or passive-aggressive demand yeses from horses who are not ready for a yes. And it's one of probably the most insidious aspects of, let's say, finer modern training. They still hold on to the zapping stick that zaps the yes, that so quietly, subtly, and almost invisibly manipulates the horse away from what the horse is trying to say, and give them one option, which is do what I want. It doesn't look like getting cowboy and abusive and dust flying. It doesn't look like that, but it's got the same effect on the horses down the line. And I want to be very clear, anyone who's using a stick as a true arm extension to communicate precisely to a horse that feels good with you, I do not speak about you. But if you use a stick and we are listening and we feel triggered by what you and I are just talking about, I say kindly and with respect, if the shoe fits, wear it. And if the shoe fits, you have our full support, compassion, and understanding in exploring ways that the stick might be laid down, and that we could find ways to listen for the yes and respect the no, and create realms of maybe in the training where learning occurs and communication lives. And I actually had a lesson yesterday with a student in Los Angeles, Anaheim kind of area. I had one lesson with them many, many months ago, and then she struggled to get an appointment because I'm booked out. She has a rising 5-year-old Dutch warm blood who is the wonder horse. He's like from a Disney movie. He is exceptional. very, very gifted. And she is a wonderful trainer who has trained so much joy, so much play. Like I've got my jaw on the floor when I watch them in sessions. And she said to me yesterday, I was like, I missed you. Where have you been? She's like, I want to get in with you more regularly. Anyway, she said to me yesterday, she said, on our first lesson, you encouraged me to leave the whip on the floor. And she said, it's made him more responsive and made me more sensitive, and it's made our communication better. And I said, can I quote you? Because often the story of the use of the stick is that it makes the communication better and it makes the horse more sensitive.
Yes.
And my experience has been the opposite, that the real communication starts when the stick is laid down.
Yes.
And sometimes it really is a stick because people are using like a branch of a tree to do this. But we can go to tack stores and we can buy all sorts of things. I don't have a stick in my stable. You won't find one, not anymore. I've had a flag every now and then, but even now I'm moving away from flags.
Yeah. Okay.
So thank you for bringing that up. Is there anything more you'd like to add there?
No, not really. I really think that teaching people without whip sticks or every other gadgets, people can learn more. They can feel deeper in their body what they learn. They can feel and know how to observe the horses, how they feel, how they think. It's more deeper, and it's more deeper. They can be more sensitive, and I think when people do not have whips in this first stage, they can feel more their body because they didn't focus. They don't focus on the whip, that they have this opportunity to use it. They need to think more about their body, what to do with their body. It builds creative in them. I feel like this.
I'm so glad I asked you if there's anything more you'd like to contribute, because there it was. So many beautiful pearls of wisdom there. I so agree with you. My journey with the stick was, last time I remember really feeling like I needed it was for safety. But now, if that same horse was with me, I would not be doing what I was doing with him then. I know that the stick was there to rush a process of de-escalation so that I could ride now rather than in 6 months' time.
Yes.
Also, last time I remember using a stick, it was because the horses were working maybe too hard, were maybe body sore, body stiff from lots of work, not sufficient caloric and vitamin and mineral intake to continually refresh their muscles, not enough rest to refresh their muscles. And the horses were not being worked at with a postural perspective that enabled them to refresh their bodies as they moved. And the stick was there to make them go forward. That's the last time I remember using it. And in both of those capacities, I now see it as inappropriate and I don't go there. And now I know when I sit on a horse, I can recognize the feelings that instruct why they're not going forward. Why are they not generous? And usually it's a very good reason. And my job is to believe the horse. I remember a clinic last year. We had a 7-year-old sport horse in South Carolina who had been working very, very hard over the clinic. He'd given some beautiful work, and he got to the end of the clinic and he said, that's enough. And I wanted to be very, very sure that this is really what he was saying, because he is partnered with a person whom struggles to accept when the horse says it's enough. because for them, they want more all the time. And I've spoken directly with this person about this. I would never speak about a client on a podcast on a subject that I haven't directly discussed with them as well. I would never do that. And their anonymity is important to me. But I watched them navigate this, and I saw them resist the temptation to kick and kick hard to make it happen because I was watching. And I knew that if I was not watching and they were on their own, what would have happened now is a kick to make it happen, or a stick and a tap to make it happen. Meanwhile, the horse had been working for 2 days beautifully. He just got to the end of his generosity and he wanted to go rest. Fair enough. And I said, look, may I please sit on the horse and feel what you're feeling? She said, yes. I sat on this lovely, lovely horse. And whether people are skeptical of what I'm about to say next or not is okay for me. A lot of people will hear me say what I have to say next and believe I have no legitimacy as a trainer with what I'm about to say. And I know that. So I'm using what I'm about to say next as a filter, because if someone thinks what I'm about to say next means I'm not a legitimate trainer, then that means they're not a good fit for me on my podcast. I sat on this horse and the feeling in his body said, go on, force me. I know you want to, because you will have to force me now. I would like to rest. I have given enough today. I would like to rest. And I would like to be free of her ambition. So, if you want what you want, go on, force me.
Yeah.
That was the energy in his body. And I was very, very clear that I wasn't projecting. Very, very clear. And I have witnesses to this moment because I was being audited at the clinic.
I believe in that.
And I double checked and I triple checked. I said, okay, are you sure? Because there's a good offer here to go that way. And there's a good offer here to go that way. And there's a good offer here to go that way. Do we have any yeses here at all that can come from a real place of yes and a real place of gentleness with each other? Are there any yeses here? And he said, not right now. And I said, okay.
Yeah.
And I got off. I said, he's finished. We can put him away. Take him for a walk on grass or put him back in his stable, give him something to eat, let him rest. He's given you a beautiful, beautiful clinic with 7 hours of work over 2 days with lots of rest in the work. I mean, he wasn't like trotting for 7 hours. Let's be really clear. I've got a low dust clinic, but he also had some lovely walk, trot, canter moments in the clinic too that were really quite lovely, So I even felt in that moment when he invited me to force him, it would have been so easy for me to ask for a stick and make it happen. And then someone watching might have said, ugh, he's just like the rest of them. Okay. Or someone watching might have said, wow, Lockie can take a horse that no one can move and he's able to move them with, right? And I had a choice to make as a trainer. And so we made it. And I think you're in the same pool here.
I feel it very, very well. I feel it because when you said this what you felt from that horse, it is something I felt from my Kali.
Kali.
From Kali.
Your gelding.
Yes. In our beginning, when I bought him, it was all the time. When I sat on him, I asked him to ride. I always
felt
almost hear it. Okay, force me. Let's see, force me. And it was a really strange feeling. It was really strange feeling that this horse was waiting. He was waiting when it will happen, when I will force him to do something. I sometimes really didn't know what I can do to tell him that I do not want to force him. I want to be with him with this. So, and now after a couple of years together, sometimes he has something like this, that you will force. Oh no, you won't force me.
Yes.
Yeah. So I remember our training with Kali, when he was very surprised. He was very surprised when when I gave him a snack after he gives us more energy than we thought he will give us.
We were
Do you remember?
Yes, we were navigating in a live lesson Kali Hergelding, who was, in my opinion, over manipulated when he was too young. When he needed just relaxing miles on a trail, he was asked to do fancy ballerina stuff, and it's made him with diet force, with sticks and stuff, and it made him quite sour to generosity, because generosity was manipulated from him rather than created.
Yes.
And so we were working with him on this piece, on this generosity piece, and asking quietly for a trot. Now, this is a very young, very healthy, very energetic horse. You're a very nice, balanced rider. We're asking for a trot. And he was just like a concrete mixer. He's saying, you're going to have to force me. You're going to have to force me. And we found a way for him to discover a trot. But when he trotted, and when we found a way, it was very innocuous. You were just using quiet leg cues. You were not kicking. You were not grinding. You were not forcing. We were just quietly repeating the question, can you? Can you? And he's like, okay, can you try? Can you think about it? Can we talk about this? Can we talk about this? And then he said, you want to talk about it? And he went, fuck you, talk about it. And he trotted. And when he trotted, he shook his head and he was like, blah, disgusted. He was just disgusted. He's like, you want to hear about trot? You want to hear about my up transitions? You want to hear how I feel about it? This is how I feel about it. And he went, fuck you. And I said, good, give him a carrot. And your eyes went, what? And I said, give him a carrot. You went, what? I said, do you trust me? You said, yes. I said, right now, carrot. And you stopped him, gave him a carrot, and Callie's eyes just went like wide, like saucers. And he was just like, wait, hold the phone. This isn't what I expected it to be. Yeah. And we both said, exactly, Callie. Exactly.
Yes.
Because we are triggering what they did. You're not listening to what I'm doing.
Yes.
You're having a triggered moment based upon your experiences rather than listening to me. As much as people struggle to listen to horses, who have been partnered with people who don't know how to listen will struggle to listen to a person who knows how to listen to horses. This is logical. And so this is Kali. And it was a very, very important training because I hadn't practiced doing this with someone before. And anyone listening, please don't try this at home, because Marta and I had been working together for 5 or 6 years at this point. We had a very established working partnership. We had done a lot of preparatory groundwork and relationship building with this horse so that when we rewarded him for this, it was perceived exactly as we intended it to be. So please don't try this at home, because someone is bound to get themselves in trouble if they adopt this practice. But the point is, we were looking for a conversation about generosity, and he was generous. He was generous with a lot of junk that didn't belong to us, but he was generous. So that's all we wanted, and we welcome you when you bring everything to the table. And it really sort of planted a seed for Mr. Kelly, didn't it?
Yes. And this open eyes from in Kali, I could see when I asked him from the ground, can you just walk? And there was a day that he said, no, not really. Can you try for me, please? force me.
Mm.
And he was waiting
For the force.
For the force. But I came to him and I touched him with my hand to his belly. And I said, could you do this for me, please? And he was, okay, I can do it.
Not forcing,
but
just
one
explaining.
step. Yes,
one step.
But one step. He did one step. I said, okay, thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
It's enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
And the second.
What? Yes.
Yes. And it was building with him step by step, doing together things, doing together, not forcing, just doing together.
Yes, it's the mere exposure effect. Horses will prefer the things they've been exposed to that they survived, whether those are good or not. They will prefer heavy pressure and force if that's what they were trained with, and if that's what they perceive they survived. They will prefer that. And developing new preference in the training is like teaching a brand new language. You can pick up the rein with a lot of force, and a horse who's trained with force will understand it. On the same horse, if you pick it up with a lot of sensitivity and with no force, the horse will go, file not found, don't understand. Yes. And you have to teach that. Yeah. Beautiful. Love this conversation. So I'm going to move. That was a lovely long muck it out segment, but I'm going to move into how are you contributing towards the tides of change that are sweeping the horse industry as we speak? How are you contributing to that?
The change. I think that change should start in the riding schools. So I would like to see how the teaching people is changing, because constantly forcing horses has bad results. It's frustrating experience for horses and for people. So I would like that in horse riding schools, instructors teach empathy, teach compassion, teach resilience, patience. I would like them to teach true friendship with horses, because one day came to my stable a girl. She was, I think, 10 years old. And she asked me if I can teach her riding horses. But I said, no, these are my private horses. I don't have riding horse school. But I started to talk with her, and I was trying to show that there are horses school in our area. And she said something very scary, because she said that she was in a horse riding school near us, and she don't like to be there because she need to use whips, and she don't want to do it. And she asked her instructor, can I be friend with my horse? And she heard that, no, you do not friend with your horse. The horse must do what you want to do with them. It was really awful. So I would love to see how horse riding schools teaches how beautiful and true friendship between horse and people can be. And it is very useful to be friends with horse. You sit on him or her. You sit on horse. Why can't we be friends with horse in such situation? It's our lives depends on that horse.
Yes, and this is why people say it's not safe. You can't trust the horse to be friends with you. And I say, if you're half in, half out, if you haven't abandoned force, some horses will resent your training and be waiting for their opportunity of freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And when that happens, it can be dangerous for you. But know that we have created that scenario. We have created that danger. That actually, if we go patient, we go slow, we use empathy, we build rapport, we build friendship. In my experience and opinion, it builds much, much safer activities with horses. If a horse has the ability to say no in a safe manner, we will very seldom expose ourselves and the horse to an inappropriate situation the horse is not well prepared for or the human not prepared for. And the majority of falls and riding accidents occur when the horse and human are overfaced with a situation they're not appropriate for and not supposed to be doing. And we've got to make this safer. And I really believe that changing the principles and practices at horse riding schools is how we make it safer. So I love that you're contributing towards the tide of change in this manner by addressing education specifically with beginners, if you can, from the beginning, and you're going to create a space where that can happen.
Yes, I was thinking about to prepare the course for instructors and for schools riding owners, because I think that they could do better. They can. Maybe they even want to do it.
Just don't know
in
how.
Better way, but they don't know how. And where I had my little place, my little stable. It was a few months when, maybe more than a few months, I started to teach kids, riding horse. But it's not riding horse only. It was starting from the ground. It was starting from how can I understand what the horse feels, how he feels, what he can think, and so on. So understanding horses, how to trust horse, and what they are saying, to believe them. And there was many people. They told me that, it's not be okay. It's not gonna happen. People, parents, will judge you because they want to see the kids galloping on the horse and so on. And I said, okay, if they want, they can go to another place and they will see. But I'm here for these kids, and I would like them to believe that it can be different. And after a few months, the same man said, okay, you did right job. And I didn't, he didn't think that it can be so good, because the parents, when I teach the parents why I'm doing it in that way, they understand it. And they didn't want to see their kids on a horse and gallop and jump. They wanted to see their kids smiling and be happy with their horse.
Get them young. This is the Lord's work, Marta. It's so wonderful. It's so beautiful. I'm so excited to see where this goes for you. And once you get your patch of earth that is yours and what's going to build for you there, it's very, very exciting. And last little segment for today. What is home for you? We are in an age of learning journeys. Everyone has a learning journey, but a journey is only a journey if it comes home. So what is something that has always been true for you, regardless what you learned, what you did, where you went, who you spoke to? What is something that nobody can change for you? What is home?
My home is with my heart. When I'm with them, I can feel, sometimes I feel like I'm not a person, human being. I'm one of them. I'm the horse. But the home for me, it's this warm feeling inside me. This warm feeling when I have with my horses, Bianca and Colin. I can feel that it is ours. It's just between us, and it's very warm. I don't know if I can explain it. It's in words.
You just did. You just did. You just did. You just explained it very, very well. Very, very well. That no matter what you learn, no matter where you go, and no matter what you do, how you and your horse feel about the other is not up for negotiation. Yes. That is the most important thing for you.
Yes.
Me too. Marta, I'd like to thank you for joining me on the pod today. And if anyone wants to get in touch with you to support you in what you're building or get to know you or work with you, where can they find you?
I think it's hard. I'm on Facebook, Marta Wieczorek. But I'm building my website, so it will be soon.
Okay, well, beautiful. I will always add that down below your episode when that's ready. And if people want to get in touch with you, they can find you through your Facebook page. And
yes. And maybe it will be ready, my website. So.
By the time this publishes, good, because this will be probably a couple of months before this publishes, because I've got I have a lot of editing to do. It'll be ready. Beautiful. So you'll be able to find her through her website. So you can find that in the show notes below. Marta, thank you, and I'll speak to you very soon.
Yes, thank you very much, Loki.
It's my pleasure.
I was so delighted to be here with you.
Wonderful. You've been listening to the Emotional Horsemanship Podcast. I am your host, Lockie Phillips, and that was my guest, Marta Wieczorek. If you'd like to find out more about Marta, check out her website and her social media in the show notes. And if you'd like to make a start with me with Emotional Horsemanship, you can go to emotionalhorsemanship.com. Thanks for being here. Please be kind to yourself, to your horses, and to others. Remember that unsolicited advice is abuse every single time. So mind your own business out there as well. Okay, thanks so much for being here, and I'll see you next time.